Okay, here I am again, late at night. One of the things I want to do is create a video series. And this video series, I've written down 39 or 40 titles. And it's a series of Christianity, from why you should accept God in your life as the initial videos, through to the basics of Christianity, through to moderate to advanced Christianity, and then ideally I think I'm going to take it into finding your call and things like that as well. The first video I want to do is God compared to science. You see, both of these give us a look into creation, into existence. As far as believing in God goes, we believe that God has always existed and God created everything in existence. For some people that's a bit far-fetched. They'd rather believe in science. And science says that there is a law of cause and effect. An effect can't happen without a cause. So something must have caused the universe to exist. Yet we don't know what caused the universe to exist. So it could have been a god. As far as they're concerned, it can't be a god because we don't know what caused the universe to exist. Well, how can you rule something out if you can't rule anything in? If you straight away declare that you've got no idea of how existence came about, then you can't rule out a God. Let's look at what they actually say. Most scientists will say, we've got no idea. But other scientists will give you theories. The universe was once a very incredibly small thing, possibly smaller than a golf ball, probably smaller than a golf ball, and possibly smaller than a marble, maybe even not much more than the size of a few atoms, and that was the entire universe, just this incredibly small thing that exploded, and the density and power of that explosion, everything came into existence. Okay, well, let's look at the cause and effect of that. What caused it to explode? Well, we don't know. What caused it to be in existence in the first case? Oh, we don't know. Okay. What about the scientists that offer theories? And their theories aren't even what science would call a theory, but they're just guesses at what may have caused the universe to exist. And one of them, for example, is that there are multiverses. And this is becoming sort of common thought because it's a good excuse as to an existence coming from nowhere. Because if you believe in multiverses, there is another universe that this universe came out of. And there has always been universes that new universes are born out of. Okay. What's your evidence for that? Oh, we don't have any. We're just guessing. This could be a possibility. So no different to God. Oh, no, we can't believe in a God, though. Why not? Well, there's no evidence. But your theory has no evidence. Well, no. Does that make sense? Is that rational? Okay. So, if, on the other hand, there is a multiverse, and this universe was born out of another universe, which was born out of another universe, which was born out of another universe, like the genealogy of humanity. I had a father who had a father who had a father, or, mother and mother and mother, whatever it might be. At some stage, there must have been a first universe. Where did that first universe come from? I think that problem has just broken down. They have absolutely no idea. We propose that God created the universe and everything. Is it rational? It is potentially more rational than believing in an ever ongoing series of multiverses that have been eternally in existence, creating new universes. Well, then let's call your multiverse God. Because if your multiverses are eternal and powerful enough to create universes, then let's call them God. Oh no, you can't use the word God for anything. Because we can't believe in a God, anything that's got the power of creation without any cause and effect, that just can create from nothing. That's not possible. But hang on, doesn't your theory say the same thing? Well, yes. So, as far as existence goes, God is possibly more plausible than coming from multiverses that have supposedly always, eternally, previously created multiverses that created multiverses that created new universes, new and new and new and new and constantly new universes with no beginning ever. Sounds like a form of God to me. The only difference is when we talk about God, we talk about an intelligent being rather than a constant freak of nature, as it were. That possibilities are so endless that those possibilities therefore must include multiverses which create existences. Okay. Sounds pretty ridiculous to me. Possibly more ridiculous than believing in a God. Okay, so you're saying that there's no evidence that science has for existence whatsoever, at all. Either scientists will agree with that, or they'll say, oh no, we've got this theory. Well, theory means nothing, right? Especially when it is a theory without any form of evidence to back it up. Your theory of evolution has dinosaur bones and stuff like that. At least they're trying to back it up with something. Though I could have a different theory on those supposed dinosaur bones and the like. I could say that those bones were created by demonic forces. Who knows? Can I be proven wrong? I can't be proven wrong as much as they can't be proven right or wrong. There is no evidence for either case. We accept the probability of dinosaurs. But as I've said before, I cannot even prove that I am real. I can feel myself in a physical body. But does that disclude me from being somewhere else in some other existence entirely? But my ability in that existence is that I can have physical dreams, and my dream can be an entire lifetime of existence in a physical world, but it's just a dream. I can't prove that wrong. However, I believe that I am not in some other existence. I choose to believe that I am a human being, that this is my actual real existence. I can't prove that man walked on the moon. I choose to believe that man walked on the moon. Okay, so we can't prove anything in life. But what does the Bible say? And let's look at Ephesians 2:8 again now. For grace you are saved by faith, and that is not of yourselves, it is the gift of God. For by grace you are saved through what? Faith. Not proof, not evidence, not fact, not reality, even though it may be real, even though it may be fact. The salvation part isn't reliant on the fact. The salvation part is reliant on grace through faith, through believing, through the choice to say, I can believe in science, which has no rational answer, or I can believe in God, which also seems to have no rational answer. But there is a positive attribute to believing in God, as to where there is no positive attribute in believing in science. How can that be? What gives a positive attribute in believing in God? Well, if I believe in God, then I believe that God can make me a better person. God can bring love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, self-control. And I think I missed one. All the fruits of the Spirit in my life. But if I choose to believe in science, I'm choosing to believe that there is nothing, there is no meaning to life. I might as well just live for my own selfish gain, and therefore I'm going to try and beat everyone else in the world at living life my way, for me. I'm going to be greedy and egotistical and selfish. It's all going to be about me, me, me. And when it comes to other people, because they're selfish as well, you're not getting what you want. So, you don't have love towards them as much as you have hate. Some you might have love towards, as long as they keep supplying what you want. If they stop supplying what you want, that love becomes hate. You don't have joy. You have sadness more often than joy. You don't have peace, you have anxiety more often than peace. I have anxiety which has brought me to sit here and talk to the camera and ideally you. But my anxiety is a wonderful anxiety. It's a desire to get a good message out. I want to say some things that I hope will inspire you. I hope will make you think. I hope will make you also realize that there are two possibilities. Either science is right and life is therefore worthless, or God is right. I'm not going to use the word religion because even scientists are religious. We'll look at that in a minute. Or God is right. And if God is right, I can have that love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control in my life. I can have all the good things in my life. I can learn to see things with a different wisdom. I can see things with a different understanding. I can see where people are coming from in a different way. I gain other attributes to life that are beneficial. I'm not running around trying to force my will on people because I'm the most important thing in the room. And when I'm not trying to force my will on people, they might happen to like me better. Whereas if I'm all about me and my ego because I believe in science and the only thing that matters in life is me getting what I want for my life, then that selfishness might cause people to dislike me. What you have as a Christian by nature exudes from you. It spreads from you. It's like tea in a tea bag that spreads into all the hot water and becomes tea. I'm changing the environment around me. So, what did I say earlier about science and religion? Scientists have religions too. They might religiously believe in science. They might worship science as an ideal. They might worship scientists. They might think, oh, well, we've got to honour Albert Einstein or whoever, Stephen Hawking or whoever, because these are wonderful men. They are the gods of this world. Well, hang on. You're putting men up as gods. You're still exalting something. It even might be you, yourself, the scientist. Oh, I am so smart. I'm the most intelligent person on the planet. Well, sorry, you're not. I've got a friend that also says he's the most intelligent person on the planet. And he must be the most intelligent person on the planet because he says so. You know, people and their pride and their ego and their self, their massive heads worship themselves. We all worship something. Even car fanatics might worship Ferraris and Bugattis and other wonderful cars. Koenigsegg's. Oh, what a car. great car, sure, but I don't worship it. I don't even think of it often. It took me a while to come up with that name because I couldn't even remember the name Koenigsegg. You'd have to look that one up if you don't know what a Koenigsegg is. They make about 12 of them every year. Okay. Absolute supercar. Makes a Ferrari look like a 1950 VW. Okay, so people worship cars. People worship TVs. They'll sit there and watch TV all day long and they don't want to leave TV. They're worshipping the TV. Some people worship alcohol. They don't want to live life without alcohol in their life. Alcohol's the most important part of their life. What is it you worship? We all worship something. The most common god in this world is the person who is believing in that god themselves. Most people in this world worship themselves above anything else. Many people worship science and cars and whatever else. And many people say they worship God. But we look at how many different potential gods that they could worship. Oh, I worship the God of the Bible. The one that says you must obey the laws of the Bible, because obeying the laws of the Bible is what gets you to heaven. What the? No. We're supposed to be above the law. We're supposed to be seeking the fruits of the Spirit, the love, joy, peace, patience, etc. The law doesn't say you must have love, joy, peace, patience, etc. The law isn't that high. The law just says don't do this, don't do that. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control are all above the law. It's more than what the law asks. So, we seek to be superior to the law. Not superior as in we can do whatever we want. No. Better than the law. Not only do we not lie, we not cheat, we not steal, but we go beyond that and love and have joy and spread peace and kindness to others. Why? Because they're the people that love God. The people that aren't worried about, not breaking the law. No, they're more worried about sharing the love. They may on occasion do something that breaks some obscure little law. Like, for example, under the law, polyester is something you can't wear because the law says you can't mix two kinds of cloth. Polyester means multiple cloth. Poly, multiple. Ester, cloth or fabric. So multiple materials to make up the fabric. People have veggie gardens. Multiple different kinds of vegetables in a garden. But under the law, you cannot sow two different crops in a field. Veggie gardens are illegal under the biblical law, the Jewish law, but Christianity is different. We are above the worry of whether we're sowing different things in a field. It's like, that's so what? we're going to be loving and therefore not lying or cheating or stealing, because they're not loving things anyway. If you're outside of love, or if you're doing things that are loving, they're not the things that break those laws, or the important laws, as it were. Because Jesus has said the most important laws were love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your might, and love your neighbour as yourself. He fulfilled the law, especially in those things, in love. So which is better? Believing in God and not like many people that might call themselves Christians, but they're still living for themselves. They're still lying and cheating and stealing and whatever else it might be. Christianity to them is just lip service. It's just, oh, you know, I'm Prime Minister of my country. Hey, I just said I'm Prime Minister of my country. That makes me Prime Minister of my country, right? Hang on. Is it possible that saying that you are something doesn't actually make you that thing? I mean, I could say I'm a police officer, but I'm not. Saying that you're Prime Minister of your country doesn't make you Prime Minister of your country. Saying that you're a Christian doesn't make you a Christian. Saying a sinner's prayer doesn't make you a Christian. Living a Christian life doesn't make you a Christian. Having a proper relationship with God is what makes you a Christian. Having God as the number one priority in your life is what makes you a Christian. So, this might as well be my message, my first message on God versus science. What do you want to choose? Believing in what science says without any evidence, or believing in what the Bible and God says without any evidence? Both are an act of faith. Science says, oh no, you can't do something purely by faith, but we've got no evidence. That's nuts. The Bible says, no, you've got to rely on faith. For by grace you are saved through faith, and that is not of yourselves, it is the gift of God. Why not choose that? You'll gain those good things out of life. You'll gain those good relationships. You'll gain the love, joy, peace, patience, etc. I have a joy in my life that when I'm not in communication and communion with God, and when I say communication with God, I don't mean I hear the audible voice of God or the like. God moves me in my heart and I get a comprehension of what God wants for me, for my life. But it's not an audible voice or anything like that. But it's still a form of communication. You accept God into your life, and that is something that comes into your life. So, if you'd like to do that, it's time to wrap up. Then just contact us, let us know, and we'll lead you through getting God in your life. The sinner's prayer and getting you into church or communion with believers, etc. I've spent way too long in this message. Bless you, govern well, in Charis.